Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Okay, so you're between meals and you're craving something sweet, right? What I do is snack on Blue Diamond honey roasted almonds. They're so good. And almonds are a superfood. So don't deny your cravings. Eat them.
Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.
Okay, so you're between meals and you're craving something sweet, right? What I do is snack on Blue Diamond honey roasted almonds. They're so good. And almonds are a superfood. So don't deny your cravings. Eat them.
Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.
Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of JNXD Politics. Right. Today we are with Justin Cohen, who is a community organizer, nonprofit leader, and running for assemblyman in my very district.
Yes.
Yours.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Today is election day too, by the way.
Yes, it is.
This is like the best hour of the day.
It is.
The blunts on this show do not represent the political candidates on there.
Correct.
Just so you all know.
Solid disclaimer.
We wanted to also let Justin know that he is our very first white guest ever to the show.
Mm-hmm. How nervous does that make you?
I've been walking around Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights all day talking.
Okay, so you're between meals and you're craving something sweet, right? What I do is snack on Blue Diamond honey roasted almonds. They're so good. And almonds are a superfood. So don't deny your cravings. Eat them.
Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.
Everybody on the street, so I feel like I can handle it, but yeah.
The reason I know you're not lying is because I happened to run into Justin Cohen the other day when I was going to get myself a salmon sandwich and a smoothie from Brooklyn Blend, and he was outside talking to the people. And at first I said, well, who is this pandering white man? But then
oh, that's right. He's a friend of a friend.
when you walked over, I was like, he's coming to ask for money, Antoinette. And then he handed me his flyer, and I was like, oh shit, I low-key know you. So it's good.
Hilarious.
Welcome, Justin. Thank you.
I low-key know you is the nicest thing I've heard in weeks.
I low-key know you.
I low-key know you. You're not a pandering white man. Cool.
Right. So,
yeah, I'm not.
Honesty.
This is going to be the most raggedy political conversation ever known to man.
Amazing.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Justin did organize a political campaign a few years ago that I was a part of called Politicize My Death, where it highlighted state violence and the need to eradicate it, which also kind of snowballed this thing of abolishing and defunding police. So I do want to start with that because that is a pretty big contention around what's going on. So what is your idea of what is abolishing or defunding the police look like? What does that mean? What does it look like? That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I came to the abolition thing just frankly through years and years of seeing reforms not work. And, I try to study history and think about our place in it. And there's just a long tradition of getting rid of shit that's terrible, and we should think about that when we confront terrible systems. And when I think about policing in particular, I don't see what's worth saving about it. And I try to avoid dehumanizing the people who are involved because a lot of that, and I get where that comes from. It's not about the people. Like, it is the system. It was built. It's like the enforcement system for white supremacy, period. And it's a violent one. And so I don't know why you would be like, well, let's tweak this. Maybe we can get it right. And so I think that's the first thing. It's just like, I don't see anything worth saving. But then the second thing people usually say to that is like, but what about this? What about murder? What about rape? What about domestic violence? All these things that are awful that we obviously should try to have less of. But like, is it really this particular system of policing that's going to get us there? Because I don't see police stopping those things proactively right now. And I don't see them solving the cases after the fact that often either. So it's like for those, really important public safety issues, yeah, we should be doing something to prevent them and to like protect victims. But it's not hassling kids who jump turnstiles, which is the vast majority of policing work. So
Yes.
Exactly.
Were you raised in a political household?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, my parents are fortunately white people who think about like race and class, and they weren't radicals necessarily, but they were always on the right side of the like serious conversations. And I was
we
lucky
call
to have
those
that.
WMWs.
Well-meaning
white
whites.
people. Yeah.
Those are real well-meaning white people, not like old girl in Central Park. She is not a well-meaning white woman. Just because you voted for Obama does not make you well-meaning, but you need to acknowledge what's going on in society. I find that when I've run into the few white people that I have run into who are running for Black people, like specifically for, or they represent civil rights attorneys and different things like that. I've noticed it's usually one extreme or the other. They either come from a pretty liberal household or they come from a staunchly Republican, very right-wing household, conservative household, and usually, are combating that. So I was just wondering. Yeah. Continue on, ex-DFR.
Right. So I do have a kind of interesting question. So a couple of weeks ago, I was on the train. And somebody from your campaign approached me and they were like, hey, do you know Justin Cohen? Can you sign? I'm like, yeah, well, I know him. That's great. But then I thought to myself, how do you come, like, there's somebody, somebody who's canvassing, someone who doesn't necessarily look like me in my neighborhood, asking me to vote for somebody else that doesn't look like me in my neighborhood, right? So I have my own ideas about racism and how I don't feel like it's a Black problem. It's for other social structures to fix, because I didn't create racism, or Black people didn't create racism, right? So I'm like, how has the challenge been for you to like, hey, I get it, it's rough.
I have tried to lead with deeds and not words on that. Like, I've spent a lot of time organizing. I surround myself with people who don't look like me. I take cues from people who are Black and brown and trans people. Like, that's been a big part of deciding to run, will the community of organizers I work with, specifically abolitionists in New York, like, support it. And not just support it, like, ride for it. And like, there was no way I could do it without that. And then the question was, okay, but now you're still going to be white and meeting people for the first time, and nobody's going to get all that. Like, the second you walk up to them on the train, like, hi, I'm Justin, would you, or even like, there's a,
who's this pandering white man?
Who is this pandering white man? And like, how do you quickly go from like zero to trust in a conversation? And like, you also, like, to be real, like, it wasn't like, oh, let's just hire a bunch of Black canvassers, right? And have people go out and like rep me who look like the people. And it's like, well, that also feels like pandering, right? So we wanted to be authentic about that and recruit in white people who had done work, who had done some personal work around racism, who, when somebody said like, what the fuck is this white guy doing running in Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights? They could be like, actually, I work with Justin on anti-racism stuff. Like, I've owned my shit. I'm working on it. Like, that's a big part of what this campaign does. So I think that was actually like a really important part of this. And I've gotten better at it and like building trust quickly over the course of, 6 months of being out here. Some of it actually in the house, like just doing Zoom calls and stuff during COVID. But yeah, it is definitely something we think about. There's no easy answer to it, but we've tried.
Absolutely. I can't imagine it being a walk in the park, but I do appreciate, you saying this, like, a lot of people who are saying or doing these tweets on social media, they seem pretty empty. And so for you to say you're surrounding yourself by people who are doing the work and are representative of the communities at large is helpful, because otherwise some people are just gonna look at you crazy, just like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And it's hard to gain the trust of Black people. I mean, I look, you got myself. It's gonna be one thing or the other. You're either gonna come up to me and I'm gonna be suspicious, or you're gonna come up to me and be super eager, and I'm also gonna be suspicious and be like, who is this very enthusiastic person? So I'm sure finding that middle ground and that common ground to let people know, like, I really am here to do the work. I'm not just speaking the words, can probably be a little difficult.
I mean, what's interesting, so like right before I got on this cast, like I was over in the Weeksville section of Crown Heights. And like, if you look at like Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, Northeast Crown Heights is very poor. Like, and it's like the part that is closer to Brownsville and Ocean Hill. And so, and the Kingsborough houses are there, which is one of the largest public housing developments in the community. And so I walked over there for the last couple hours, and I went up to these four dudes, like on bikes, smoking weed. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Because like, frankly, like I do walk the streets with a lot of people who do politics, and they'll like ignore young people who are like sitting on the stoop smoking. And I'm like, they need to be involved, like, And so I stopped to talk with them for whatever. And this guy goes, come here. And I go over and stand next to him, and he's like, I need to tell you something very serious. You need to listen. And I was like, okay. And he said, I've lived on this block for 50 years. You are the first politician of any color to walk here. Like, I was like, okay. And he's like, but that doesn't earn you shit. Like, he was like, I just want to let you know. He's like, so anyway, that doesn't mean anything, but just know you were the first one. So
that means you're walking in the right direction. You're doing,
exactly.
you're doing, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to talk to the people and see what's going on, and let them know you're not just shaking hands and kissing babies and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Trying.
Right. So a good portion of this is with Black Lives Matter. I always say that you can't say that with honoring those who are still living too, right? So a big part of that is this COVID crisis. This particular neighborhood, this particular district is struggling when it comes to healthcare resources. Like, every time I go, and I know, Jade, if you go on the app, Flatbush is a hotbed too. So how do we address that on a political side and on a community side to reduce the? I know in HIV talk and work we talked about reducing the community viral load. I don't necessarily want to apply that here, but how do we do that?
I mean, we did this interesting. So when COVID hit, we knew we couldn't really campaign, like that wasn't going to work. Like, certainly couldn't go like talk to people on the streets or anything. But we also were like, we have to be mad respectful and not just like call people and like, hey, vote for this white guy. Like, that was like, can't do that. So we just started calling and texting everybody and saying, hey, we know this is a hard time. What do you need? Like, what do you think you need? And we divided everything into short and long-term needs. Like, short-term needs were like, I don't have food. There's no Purell anywhere near me. Like, East New York, East Flatbush, Canarsie, Starrett City. Like, there was like no sanitizer or like cleansers for months. Whereas I was like talking to people in Park Slope, and they were getting like fresh deliveries of Lysol wipes every week. So like just seeing that happen like within the borough was nuts. So we did that. So there were a bunch of like these kind of mutual aid networks that popped up. Like, I work with Equality for Flatbush. They've been organizing in Black and brown communities for many years. Like, they're cool. They're like embedded in the community. Then some of these other groups popped up that like I would put them in the WMW category. And some of them like have really tried to do the work and have wrestled with like, how do you do short-term mutual aid work without doing like deep political work, but they're actually trying. And so we would tell people connect to those groups doing those mutual aid activities. But then we also said, like, what do you think the community needs to recover longer term? We ended up getting like 15,000 people to say something. And it was like, and overwhelmingly, like, people are like, we need healthcare, we need transit, like, we need food security, we need, all these like things that make the community strong. Not a fucking person said more police. Like, not one. Nobody.
We're gonna say that. My first go-to when it comes to the hood is always food, because we always have food desert problems, I find. And doing the touring dinner parties I've been doing, I essentially get event-friendly Airbnbs and turn them into like little restaurant event things for the night. And we'll get them in a black area. That literally means, that's my home wherever I go, except for Gary, Indiana. And so me and Gary don't bang like that. So Philly especially, I remember specifically, was so hard to get fresh food within the neighborhood. Same thing here in New York. When I used to live right in the dead middle of Bed-Stuy, like I lived in a good dead zone. All we had was a nasty ass C-Town around the corner. You know what I'm saying? I had to go down to Trader Joe's or go over to Whole Foods to try to go get good stuff because I was pregnant. So that is a huge problem. These are the issues that need to be addressed within the communities. Another question I have for you is, because you're a white man. I'm sure you encounter a lot of other white people who are not like yourself, who don't maybe fully understand what you stand for just looking at you. Do you find that they say crazy ass shit to you about, make crazy comments and things like that? And what are your responses to these things?
I mean, it depends on what you define as crazy.
Or maybe I should stop saying crazy.
No.
Yeah, we shouldn't say crazy.
Wild.
We should say wild. Yeah.
Wild. People say wild things all the time. And I wrote this stupid, it was kind of stupid, this throwaway thing like a few years ago about like the white people you meet at Thanksgiving dinner and how to like segment them. So like, and how to deal with different categories. And I was like, people are always thinking about that like old ass motherfucker, like the uncle who's a dick, who's like mean to everybody and he's a bully, and everybody's like worried about that guy. And I'm like, forget about that guy. Like at some level, like he's gonna die. Like, but like he's real. He is forming the next generation of bully men. And like you have to like marginalize that viewpoint and like focus on the younger folk, because I mean, look, I see the racist young kids on TikTok doing their things, like, so it's not like this is going to go away with aging, but like we have a better shot with people who are, low-key racist and don't know it, microaggressing all the time, like don't know their history, like are well-meaning but like don't have any black people in their lives and they don't know anything, like like I think you have to like segment people. So like I definitely hear, I think there's a just sort of spectrum in Brooklyn. Although that dude at Burl Coffee the other day, I'm sure you saw him on Twitter, the one who was like going off on All Lives Matter at the coffee shop over on.
Oh no,
Marcus
I
Garvey.
didn't see that.
Oh, there was a whole bunch of videos.
Yeah, it was bad.
On Garvey?
Yeah, right by where I used to, on Troop. It's like 1 block from where I used to live.
The cojones, I swear.
Yeah, it was bad.
But anyway, go ahead.
People shut it down. No, people shut that down. But like, I find the more like common thing I get is people who are like, okay, I get it, but it's not really structural, right? It's like, there's something else happening, which almost always goes to pathologizing people. And I view that as almost worse than sort of the person running around using the N-word all the time, because like they've created a construct in their head of a pathology around people that is really hard to undo, because they're convinced that they have some kind of intellectual basis for it.
I agree. Those are the dangerous ones.
Is my internet bad?
Right. So as this is me coming to you as a member of the community, because this is where I live. So there has been an influx of violence lately, and I'm going to attribute it to pandemic anxiety, because a lot of us joke and be like, oh, it's summer. People are cooped up in the wintertime for being angry. Now they want to shoot people all summer. Now I'm kind of like, things are exacerbated because of the pandemic. And I've noticed that there's been an influx of more police in this area.
Yeah.
However, there's also been an influx of fireworks going on in my neighborhood. And there are police officers posted on every corner and have not done anything about it. Now, this isn't to say for me to be like, I believe in policing and they should. I'm just saying, since the structures that we have exist already, they're not necessarily doing their job.
No. What do you can I ask a question actually? What's your fireworks theory? Everybody I talk to has like a fireworks theory.
Police. I feel like it's a number of things. So there's the police, there are the obscure white men driving around in SUVs and handing out these fucking Orlando Disney World style fireworks to these young black kids because
H-bombs.
Why? They know that they love popping fireworks. I mean, if we're going to really call a thing, these young boys have been popping fireworks every summer, all summer, but it has never been to this degree. So I believe that they're doing that. I believe they are planting these fireworks the same way that they plant those bricks. I think they're planting them some way, whether they're sticking them in somebody's hand or they're putting them somewhere. This is being provided by the government in some form or fashion. And then on top of that, they are doing this in urban communities, trying to fuck with black people's mental, their depression, their anxiety, PTSD, a number of mental health issues, knowing that they are putting this off on the community. They are intentionally trying to disrupt our peace. That is my theory, and I know it to be true.
I don't disagree with you. I'm the same. I'm of the same thing, and I might even want to go a step further and say they are, even though you said it, but I feel like they might be literally putting it in the hands of people because of the fact that, as trying to build some sort of community kind of situation, how we've seen like these pictures of photo ops of police with black and brown people. It's just like, girl, don't nobody believe this.
Get out of here, Pharisee. Go away, Pharisee.
Nobody's buying it, sis.
No,
not at all. Those are not well-meaning white people.
No. I mean, yeah, I have honestly, I've been following so many like different Facebook threads about this and Google group threads of community organizers trying to get to the bottom of this. And like there are people who are like they kind of buy the police are doing it theory, but then they're also like, this is taking our agency away. We've always put off fireworks in the summer. And I'm like,
no, we have, but until 3 and I distinctly remember last summer, there were some, and they weren't even young. They were out in front of the building popping these. I mean, it sounded like a fucking Con Edison pothole. It sounded like it was blowing up. Like the manholes were blowing up. It was so ridiculous. So we get fireworks all summer, but I have never, ever, ever seen fireworks start at 3 p.m. and go until 3 a.m.
Yo, it's literally all day.
Non-stop.
It started not too long ago, actually. That's something I'm glad it's not coming up in here now. But, we record at 7 o'clock. So I'm by
it's
the time
bombs over Baghdad by the time we go on the microphone.
Right. And it'd be like 8 o'clock. It's still light outside. Why?
And I think they're trying to, I think aside, in addition to them trying to fuck with us, they're also trying to prepare us for chaos. Because if you ask me, we are in the middle of a battle. And the reason I specifically say battle is because this has been a war for a really fucking long time. So I feel like we are in the midst and in the throes of a brewing battle that's getting ready to happen. And they are trying to prepare us for whatever bullshit they are planning behind closed doors. I mean, and call me a conspiracy theorist, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. I'll be a black Israelite. But
I was going to say conspiracy theorist. But
I'll take it. But I do feel like I don't trust the government whatsoever. I do not feel like they have our best interests at heart, and they never have.
I mean, I was out, so I was protesting a lot in May. And I was out like the first big night of the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor protests at Barclays, and then I was with the raggedy crew that like cut off and went to DeKalb and went up to the precinct. And
Yeah, y'all better work.
Direct action.
that was a night. I'm telling you, like seriously, like we were up like on DeKalb past. We like went from Fort Greene Park and then marched. I call it marched to like where Pratt is, and like I had a cop van charge me and hit me that night. And that was like the first night of the protest. And I think people like weren't quite ready for the level of aggression yet. And I had like 5 well-meaning whites rush over to me and be like, "Are you okay? That van like literally charged and hit you." And I was with my friend Hadass and her friend, and like they both looked like, "Dude, that van literally hit you." And I was like, "I'm all right." Like I was just kind of stunned. I didn't really get hurt. Like it hit me in the leg, whatever. It wasn't like a big deal, but it was like it happened. I was like, "Okay, that's interesting." Then we get to the 88th precinct, and they like form battle lines with riot gear and charge us. And like I got knocked to the ground. Mom, they just did that. Right? And then like next night, I got arrested the next night, but I saw very similar behavior in Flatbush, like at the corner of Church and Bedford, where they were just like in riot gear and treating young people like a military. They were treating like young people like a military force to be punished and attacked. Like it wasn't.
That was
and so anyway,
absolutely happening.
Like I don't know if the fireworks are part of. Yeah, like I think there's like this is like deep like they're running this like a military operation. That's not
They are. That's not far from where I live. I live near church, and I can firmly attest. I had to go run an errand that day, and on my way back, I saw maybe 3 or 4 separate bunches of police just standing, looking like they were ready to riot, swinging batons, like just very passive aggressive. But like, we're ready. Anything you do, we're ready to pop off. And that was happening on Church. It was happening on Snyder. It was happening on Bedford, on Roger. Like, I saw it all over the place in different clusters. I also saw a police van that was just parked on Bedford with a sprayed BLM on it. And let me tell you, my first thought was not somebody took over, because this was the night right after like this was the night of the big riots. And so this was literally that late afternoon, early evening. I was headed back home, and I saw a van, and my first thought was they put that shit there, and they spray painted that shit, and I know they did that, and I know they're doing that all over the place. It's just a dirty entity. It's a dirty entity.
Yeah, I mean, I was there that night. I mean, I saw ugly shit top to bottom. Like a kid at some point, like a firework went off on the ground, like on Church Ave, and it like that's scary. I was like Instagram living, and like firework goes off, like everybody's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, and like, but you watch these like cops, like guy unholsters his gun, looks at the nearest like 16-year-old black kid he can find, and goes, "I will shoot you, you little bitch!" Like, and I'm like. And I go, and like, this is where like, you're just like, I'm sorry, I get emotional, but it's like, that kid could have got shot right there. Like, that moment. Like, and I don't know whether it was restraint or he was this, whatever, but you just see it happen where it's like, their reaction is to violence. Now, like, granted, I was scared shitless when the firework went off. Like, so I get everybody's probably scared in the situation, but nobody needs to be unholstering guns into protest.
No, not at all. Or rushing people or hitting people with vehicles. My friend who was with me that day when I saw you, she was rushed by the police. She was protesting in the city. They barricaded in Times Square, right? So right when they came into Times Square, where they have that pedestrian area, they barricaded the protesters in, and then they rushed them. Just rushed them for no reason. There was literally nothing popping off, and they rushed them. So there's nothing in my mind. There's nothing that anybody can tell me to convince me that the police are not bullies, and that I'd rather figure out another way for us to police the community, or to actually make sure the community is safe, not police, because people shouldn't be policed. First of all, if there's a problem within the name. So, okay, this has been very even killed. Let's have a little fun.
All right.
Unless you have any more questions.
I do have just two more serious questions.
Okay.
I promise. They happen to do with elections and politics in general. A lot of times in social media conversations, a lot of people are learning how to be better people through social media. And a lot of times you see these conversations about, forget voting, screw voting. It's never helped anybody. It's never, the revolution is not through voting. And then you have the other side that says, you need to participate in local governments because they, govern and will do a whole bunch of other shit down the line, right? So what is your response to that? I mean, it's weird because you are running, so obviously you think local government is important, but how do you respond to that?
I think, so I'm running because I definitely think it matters, but I don't think it's the only thing that matters. And so, and if we thought it was the only thing that matters, it would exclude anybody under 18 who doesn't get a say. It would exclude undocumented people who can never get a say. It'll exclude people who are immigrants who don't go through the crazy process to naturalize. Like my campaign chairwoman, Malika, came here from Guyana when she was a child. She's an immigrant. She can't vote. She's not a citizen. Like I purposefully wanted to involve people who were not eligible to participate in the political process because we can't say it's the only thing that matters if everybody can't participate in it. So I totally get why people don't participate. And it's funny, mutual friend Larry is my field director. He's on the record in an article that Terrell Starr wrote a few years ago being like, I don't vote. And I'm like, he's my field director because Larry talks to people and he's like, I understand why you don't trust this process. And I'm telling you, this is actually different this time. Maybe, I hope. I want to be different. I'm not different yet. Let's be clear. But yeah, so I totally understand that. And I do think the political process matters, but it only matters if people in politics respond to the street pressure. I think a lot of people get into politics and then ignore the street pressure. And they do it to get away from it or to rise above it or something like that. And I just think that they're got to keep them together.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What's your last question?
With all the protests and things, a lot of times it seems a little well, where do we go? Some sort of desperation. There's no place to go. It's all darkness and despair. And I don't necessarily think that. And neither, we don't think that. So what are the next steps that we should all take? And what are some steps white people need to take? Because people, not our problem.
White people need to stay mad longer than a month. And this is the thing.
Woo! Yes.
And this is, I say this as a white who has changed fundamentally over the course of my life. I didn't start from crazy right wing and become whatever I am now, whatever that is. But I've gone from liberal, well-meaning to kind of radical over the course of many years. And I've basically been mad for 8 years now. And I haven't really stopped and I haven't taken my foot off the gas. And it's actually come at significant personal loss. And we don't have to talk about that right now. And I'm in an awesome place now in my life, to be clear. I'm running for office from a place of strength and inner confidence about the role I'm playing in the world. But it took a very long time to unwind and extricate myself from the kind of life that wouldn't have allowed me to do that. More white people have to go through some serious loss and some serious pain in the pursuit of this. And it doesn't mean you protest for a month. It's more than that. And I want to help more people get to that place because I don't think we just changed one major state law in New York and it was the worst fucking police accountability law in the country. It was nobody else had a law like this. And our legislature is celebrating this. And the governor is being we did it. I'm we did it. What? We repealed the law that said you can't know if a police shot someone.
Right.
50A, which is the police secrecy law. We just repealed that. It's the worst law in the country. And this is New York. Mm-hmm. And so we're celebrating that. And it's we can't stop. So I guess that's my biggest thing is the protests have to continue and it has to stay uncomfortable for people. And it can't just be the kind of blessed protest where politicians show up and everybody has a choreographed thing they do. I think the pop-off protests matter because it keeps people from thinking that we're going back to comfortable anytime soon. That is not a popular position among politicians, and I probably will get in trouble for saying that, but I mean it.
Yeah.
That's important.
Fuck the system.
This country responds to the destruction of capital, and as long as it will do that, that is how you have to bring protest.
And there's also one more thing that has to happen, but I'll make sure I won't say that while you're here.
Just saying, every
There's
day
a
I wake
particular
up and I'd be like,
Every day I
why?
wake up and check. They said, did it happen yet?
Yeah.
Did you?
CNN ain't report nothing. Take too many hydrochlor pills or whatever. This could be your year.
I will tell you, we put reparations in my campaign platform on day one. And it's on the website, and it's like we've never changed the website, which is the funny. Like we have not changed the language on that website since day one, and it's been like the same defund of invest stuff, which like I feel really proud of actually that we started from the place that of like love and sort of accountability around these issues. Mm-hmm. But like New York should do reparations, and we were saying we should do it through the taxes and revenue on cannabis, and that was like the natural place to do it.
It makes the most sense to me. I say that all the time. I say New York always, Cuomo is talking about, New York not making any money because of the pandemic. And I'm like, well, this would be the perfect opportune time to legalize it and do that 20% sales tax on it that Denver does.
Yes.
So we could be rolling in the dough.
Really could. It's going to put small businesses out, but
and it'll also make it so that they're forced to release
but it will also,
records, and they don't want to do that.
Which is a bigger, they don't want to do that because that's money. That's money for them. Yeah. So Cuomo wants to sit at home and eat his spaghetti and meatballs. That's what he wants to do, and a couple of press releases and upbuild and say, we're New York, go Yankees. And, while all of that is like sweet and beautiful or whatever, that is not what we need at this time. I don't think he is. I don't know. Cuomo is. And
I'm also glad that you are pro-cannabis. It makes the most sense, especially in this community.
Very, 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 very pro. Very
well,
pro.
You know what? In your honor, because I'm not running.
Yeah,
I'm going to roll up again. Oh, God.
So we had when we knew you were coming on this show, we had a couple things of like, we should do a segment called Ask a White Man. But we okay, great. So there's a couple of questions that we have had. Wait, are you ready? You okay?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear that?
No.
My husband was FaceTiming me, and I kept trying to shut it up. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So here's a couple of things that, our listeners may or may not want to know about maybe you or the people at large. So we have one question that I want to know, and we wrote a story about it. How do I ask this? Why do y'all clap on 1 and 3 instead of 2 and 4?
I truly don't know.
Do you have rhythm?
I have a little bit, and I have rhythm, and I'm actually a pretty good mimic rapper. Like I don't write, but I can do comprehensive rundowns of most of the songs written after 1990.
Karaoke trap
people
king.
Like the 1 and the 3. I mean, I say this with confidence. Like I could show up and hold my own. I don't understand. I truly don't understand why white people cap on the 1 and 3. And I almost think it's the kind of thing where because white people are such achievers and overachievers that if you actually like set out to like remedy this with some kind of instructional video, like folks would like watch it and like be all about it. But I don't.
I think it's a blood thing, honestly. It's kind of like, it's like how black people, we don't like Campari and Aperol.
Really?
It's a very small percentage of us who who can tolerate
I said
that.
I don't like Aperol Spritzer. Like my friends try to get me to drink it. It's a bitter taste. It's like, I think it's how people have like that aversion to cilantro.
Yeah.
I think and I think it's because I really only find white people who be like, let me get a Campari and soda with a slice of orange. And I'm like, that sounds wretched, but okay.
Since you are in Brooklyn, what are your top 5 Brooklyn rappers? Go.
Oh, gosh. Sean Price, Kweli, Mos, Yassine, sorry.
We don't call him, black people don't call him.
We'll call him Yassine.
No, we don't call him Yassine. We call him Mos. And if you're me, you call him Elmo. Go ahead.
Or Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
He looks like Abe Lincoln.
He looks like Abe Lincoln.
Okay, you have.
Do we count Erykah Badu as a rapper? Like sometimes.
Sure.
But we will take it because we understand that we understand the issues that stand. But as far as the music is concerned,
fair enough.
We are fans.
And then I have to. I like it's hard because I do love Biggie, but Jay is for me.
That's fair. I feel like that's a.
Yeah. I feel like also being a white guy to name his top 5 and not pick Biggie was something.
My question was going to be, what were the last 5 things you listened to for musica? Like, what's the last 5 songs you listened to?
Let me get my phone out. I think Philadelphia, because that's a hype up song for me.
Yes. Hype up song.
That's a good hype up song. Then I listened to the Jay remix of Kendrick's "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe" a lot. That's also on my last few. What else? Oh my god! I think I listened to Evelyn Champagne this morning, and then the '80s dance mix on what's it called on Spotify that like follows from that naturally, which is like a real fun range. Like that playlist. What's that one called? I play it all the time, but it's like. What's interesting about it to me, and God, I'm going way too deep on this. Sorry,
you're fine. No,
okay.
You're absolutely fine.
What I love
I was going to ask you about Drag Race in a little bit. So.
What I love about it is like I think there was like when I was growing up, you definitely had like stations that played black music and stations that played white music, and my parents listened to a lot of black music. Like my first concert ever was a Luther Vandross and Vogue concert at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Oh my God! That's what they got. That's the famous concert where he cursed them out for
yeah, they had a terrible back in the dressing room. That was that tour.
Oh my gosh!
So I was at the Philly show with my parents, and we were definitely like the only white people there. And so anyway, what's great about this particular Spotify playlist is that it doesn't discriminate. This is like you were born in the '80s, and we don't know whether it was in Camden or whether it was in Bergen County, New Jersey. Like this is for everybody, and like it just like careens from like Paul and Oates to Evelyn Champagne, and I love it.
If you could pick 5 songs that represents you as a person, what would they be? And don't feel pressured that they have to be black songs.
Right, because every time we do this for us, I don't have black people on my.
Really?
He's a white woman of color.
He's a
white woman of color.
No, I do have blacks. I just, I have Barbara Streisand. She's always number 1.
Always for him.
And more people fall on there.
All right, 5 songs represent who I am. Okay. Okay. Cornflake Girl by Tori Amos. I also listened to that yesterday. Yep.
Okay. The Lilith Fair Girls. Got it.
I was like on dial-up message boards for like moody boys who like 9 Inch Nails and Tori Amos.
Mad flannel, mad flannel.
Yeah, seriously. That's one. Gosh, this is really hard.
Yes.
ADHD by Kendrick. That's one for me.
Okay.
That's like really in there. Okay, the human. What is it? The Michael Jackson remix, that FWB song. The Human Nature remix.
Right.
Thank you. With Pharrell in the background.
You
better know.
That's
you better know the history. Okay, Black Music Month.
Here Comes the Rain Again by Annie Lennox. I listen to that song all the time.
We don't really celebrate Annie Lennox. No, we got to do that on J-Mix.
Who's we? I celebrate Annie plenty.
I'm just saying we don't as a people. I'm just saying. Sweet Dreams. We don't celebrate that enough.
We don't.
We should.
And I got to pick one. I get one more, right?
One more.
Mm-hmm. Make it good.
Maybe I got something Bowie, probably. Maybe Modern Love.
Okay. I like this diverse playlist. Okay, do you cook?
Yes.
You do cook. Okay.
He has a very wonderful backyard.
I do. Oh my gosh, can you guys? We're having an after party, by the way, for the election tonight. If you want to come over.
What? I can't eat chicken with a mask on.
That's true.
Because I thought about that. I was like, ooh, wait.
We'll be in the yard. It'll be distant.
No judges. No judges.
No judges.
But thank you so much for the invite. We will break bread when the all of this is, I'm not gonna say said and done because we don't know when this is gonna be done. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna break bread soon. Now, as far as the cookout, I am a firm believer, unfortunately, that white folks have to pay for the sins of their forefathers. And so even our very well-meaning ones have to, it's kind of like the people who can't get into Central Park for summer stage, but they get to enjoy the music from the outside. I appreciate y'all. I really, really do. And I want you to be a part of the community. But I say, well, y'all got to pay for the sins of your forefathers, so you can't come into the cookout just right now. But in your picnic right outside the gate where we're enjoying all the same music, what is on your, what are you having? What are you making?
Can I say something about the cookout for a second though? because I feel like I really hate the white people who are invited to the cookout thing because I think it encourages exceptionalism. I think it's like white people striving to be the one that gets invited. I'm like, fuck that. Strive to be taking down the barriers so that yeah. So anyway, I do not like the idea that I'm going to be the one. I know it's like when white people can do a dance. I'm like, listen, I understand that this little girl is going off, but there are 75 other little black girls over in the corner who are getting busy boots right now. And while we, let this little girl go dance with them little girls and say, you know what? That group of little girls can dance. But this hype up of this one girl who can really do it, it stresses me out, which is why I say, okay, well, all the well-meaning white people, I got love for y'all. I'm not going to say I don't have love for you all, especially the ones who are doing the work. I got love for you, but you can listen to the music, enjoy the DJ from outside the gates, unfortunately. You must pay for the sins of your forefathers. Yeah.
So
that's said.
What you got in your cookout? What you got in your little cookout picnic basket?
So I make this really, really good kale salad, which, by the way, is the beginning of every white person's description of their cookout. This is where we meet. This is where we meet.
Yeah, we're all here.
Let me tell you what I do though. I make a dressing that is pistachio puree. So I put a bunch of pistachios in the blender, and then I add garlic, jalapenos, lemon juice, vinegar, and it becomes basically a pureed pistachio vinaigrette, and then I toss the kale in that. and it is awesome.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, it's good. I will do
I'm
that.
going to try this.
And then I will often do like watermelon salad with basil strips. I learned that from my friend Key's old partner, who's like a chef. Will not make potato salad. I've tried too many times.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, as long as you know what's in your warehouse, you know, people try to do potato salad, and it's just not. It's not their ministry. It's really not.
Yeah, there's only one group of white people who can do potato salad, and that is the Germans. It is not your traditional potato salad. So
you are on your own there, friend.
It is very delicious, and if you are expecting traditional potato salad, then you are going to be disappointed. However, it is a nice warm potato with onions and mustard and vinegar. It's got a nice vinegary flavor to it, salt and pepper, and lots of garlic. Delicious.
Not for your girl, but but we are nearing the end of our time. So, Justin, thank you for coming. Are there any last words you want to impart to us and our listeners?
Oh, just thank you. This was nice. I've never run for office before. Today is the end of like a 6-month sprint, and I have been looking forward to this, and it was fun, and it didn't feel like I had to do anything other than be myself, and I appreciate that.
Yay. Oh, we love it, and I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Close Rikers now, no new jails.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, we will put where people can find you and you're just in the description box wherever they're listening. But thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was lovely. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Justin. We'll talk soon.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
The days are getting shorter, and you can feel it in the air. Yes, it's that time of year. Pumpkin is finally back at Dunkin'. It's the cozy you've been craving all summer long, now in your cup at Dunkin'. Pick up all of your pumpkin favorites, like the signature pumpkin spice iced latte, or a pumpkin iced coffee, and bakery items like pumpkin donuts and muffins. Sip into something comfortable to celebrate the start of cozy season. Use the Dunkin' app for contactless ordering. America runs on Dunkin'.
Okay, so you're between meals and you're craving something sweet, right? What I do is snack on Blue Diamond honey roasted almonds. They're so good. And almonds are a superfood. So don't deny your cravings. Eat them.
Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.